I was going to pull the car in the garage, close the garage door, and just enough was enough. I was raised in a Christian home. I remember 3 years old, Sunday school. I remember when I was 6 years old, I lined up all my friends and baptized them. I led my friends through the sinner's prayer. Well, their parents wouldn't let them go to church, and it was up to me. One of them was 3, the other one was 5. They seemed to understand, so then I baptized them with rainwater. Unfortunately, I was a baby Christian for most of my life. I wasn't in the Word, so I didn't really have the foundation to stand on as I should have. Back in 1993, I was miserable. I had been married to my husband for 19 years, and all I could think of was I wanted out. I finally was ready to leave, and I discovered I was pregnant. How inconvenient. I was deceived into believing that an 8-week fetus was just a blob of tissue, not a human being. I scheduled an abortion. I wish I could say I changed my mind, but I didn't. I went through the procedure, and when it was over with, I was laying in a recovery room, and God revealed to me that there were angels. The room was filled with angels. I didn't visibly see them, and I didn't audibly hear them, but I was made aware of their presence. And they were crying. They were crying over all the babies that were lost. People that would never be born, never fulfill. And it reminded me of a song called Hosanna in the Highest. There's a line in there where they say, break my heart for what breaks yours. And that's what God did. I was so filled with self-loathing that all I thought about when I left the clinic was suicide. You get distracted first, distracted away from Him, then disconnected. You start doing things your way instead of God's way. Pretty scary when you don't have Him in your life. It was the worst depression of my life. Everything was about as bad as it could get. The glass was always half empty, never half full. I was going to pull the car in the garage, close the garage door, and just enough was enough. So I did. I went home. I reached up, pushed the garage door button, and the door went up. And my daughter decided to have a garage sale, so I couldn't get the car in the garage. There wasn't a day that my car was out in the driveway. My car was always in the garage. But this day, this one day, it wasn't happening. I wish I could say I came back to the Lord then, but I still wasn't ready, so I went on Prozac for a while. During my years of depression, I was still a Christmas and Easter Christian twice a year. I did things that you're not supposed to do outside of marriage, and then I would ask for forgiveness. I couldn't hear God's voice. I just called out to God when I was in trouble for the most part. Help me, God, I'm in trouble again. But yeah, I've been there. I couldn't understand how I had allowed my life to get into such a mess. But I was trying to be Superwoman for me. Actually, my family didn't even really know about my depression because because I put on a great show for everybody. My daughter was a rebellious teen. She knew the Lord, and she was raised knowing the Lord, but as a teenager, well, you know how teenagers can be. My daughter and I were both pretty far away from the Lord. She mentioned that she was coming to Calvary Chapel. So I came to Calvary to spy on my daughter. When I walked in, they had the most incredible praise and worship music I'd ever heard. I felt like a fish with a hook in my mouth. Like God just reeled me back in. As long as we're living and breathing, we're not beyond His reach. We're miracles. We're miracles. God's very good at miracles. He's a loving God. He wants to forgive us. He wants us to come back to Him. He's into restoration. When I was away from God, I felt empty, dead inside, depressed, obviously, no direction, almost like being on a treadmill. You're running in place and you're not going anywhere. No purpose in my life. I absolutely have purpose now. God has used me at work. He's used me in so many different ways. I just feel so blessed and privileged to be His servant. He is the joy in my life. He gives me the pat on the back when I need a pat on the back, when I need the encouragement. I can't imagine going back to empty nothingness and being in the world. I just love Him so much. My name is Valerie, and I am changed.